It all goes back to Eve. That's what some men say on certain posts, right? And I find it really funny because those men don't seem to know the biblical story, right? Eve wasn't there when the commandment was given. She was told the commandment by Adam. But Adam was standing right there when the serpent tempted Eve. And he stood by silently and said nothing while she took the fruit. And then he ate it when she handed it to him. He didn't object. He didn't knock the fruit out of her hand. He didn't even stand in front of her and tell the serpent not to talk to her or take her hand and say, hey, we're leaving. We're not going to participate in this. He didn't do a thing. He stood silently and did nothing, passive as he could be. But men are supposed to be leaders, right? The first man was definitely not. And then it kind of also proves how men generally are very submissive. Whoever makes a decision, a lot of times they just go along with it. Eve made the decision. Adam just went along with it. And then when they go to hide and God says, okay, where are you guys? He says, we were ashamed and we hid because we were naked. And God says, who told you were naked? And he says, well, the woman you gave me the fruit and I did eat. So he doesn't take accountability. I was in the garden. I stood by. I heard the serpent say what he said. And we both ate the fruit. No, it's the woman you gave me. So not only is he blaming Eve, he's also blaming God. Right? But, men are supposed to be leaders. Men are supposed to take accountability, right? That's not taking accountability. And then God punishes Adam and Eve, gives them both punishments. Eve is going to desire her husband, and he's going to rule over her, and she's going to have pain in childbirth, and he's going to have to labor by the sweat of his brow to make a living. Now, very interestingly, why do other animals have pain in childbirth, right? I don't know, because it seems like, according to this pronouncement, pain in childbirth is a part of the curse for women, female women, human women. So kind of strange on that one. But also, when you hear men talk about it all started with Eve, and that's why women shouldn't be in leadership, and that's why women shouldn't this and women shouldn't that, they seem to forget that Adam and Eve were both punished. Adam and Eve were both kicked out of the garden. God did not say, Eve is the only one to be punished and Eve needs to be punished forever. No, didn't say that at all. And the men who bring up submission was a part of the curse. So if you believe in Christianity, where human beings were supposed to be redeemed from the curse of the law by the sacrifice of Jesus, that means that women should no longer be ruled over by their husbands. In fact, the New Testament says there is no male or female in Christ, and there were leaders all throughout the Bible that were women, but Christianity kind of glosses over that and acts like those women didn't exist, so it didn't all begin with Eve, at least not in the sense that these men try to make it seem. So just some food for thought. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the topic. This is Zen Ase, Zenase. That's 2 words. Please check out my books on Amazon. I have 5 books on Amazon. I have a guided journal, undated planner, a children's book, and 2 poetry prose memoirs that are about my personal healing journey. And please check out my podcast, Zenergy, Zennurgy. It's on 25 different streaming platforms. I'd love for you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and you can also sponsor this podcast. And thank you so much. May you walk in Zenergy.